And it sounds simple, but it seems like people have really been digging it. It released earlier in 2023, but it's been popping off. And the best part is that there's actually a demo available on Steam if you want to check it out. Next, over at number 42, we have Season, A Letter to the Future. Believe it or not, we actually thought this was a PlayStation exclusive, but it is also on PC, and it is a quality experience with a kind of open world that you're exploring and figuring out this adventure. It's mostly story-based. You're not doing anything too intense. It's honestly kind of like a vibe-based game. Some reviewers have actually explained the game as dreamlike, and I think that's pretty spot on. If you're looking for something fascinating, beautiful, and a bit more slower paced, consider Season. Next, over at number 41, we have RoboCop Rogue City. Now, as the diehard RoboCop fan at GameRanks, I am still skeptical of this one at the time of this video releasing. We haven't seen too much of it other than just a brief snippet of gameplay that seems pretty serious and action-focused. Interestingly enough, it's first-person shooter, and I know a lot of people out there really wanted to play as RoboCop in third person, but I think if they do it right with all the visual, like the visor systems and everything like that, and prime directives, they could nail it. Still, we don't know for sure, but it is also from publisher Nacon and developer Teon, who are also responsible for the most recent Terminator game that actually did a good job of at least understanding the source material, even if it was a flawed game. RoboCop just deserves a kick-ass new game in 2023, so we're hoping this one drops this year, and it is great. Next, over at number 40, we have Atomic Heart. If you're looking for a weird, unique first-person shooter set in a very different world and a kind of alternate dystopian future where the Soviet Union prospered and developed all this weird, crazy technology, including robots that have come to life, and you need to kill them. This is your type of game. A lot of people have said it's kind of BioShock-inspired. It didn't feel like that to us. It felt more like a Wolfenstein type of thing with some open-world elements. It is a deeply flawed game. We want to say that up front. But if you're just looking for something fresh, unique, you should still consider it. Next, over at number 39, we have a Nice Death. I mean, look at the main character. It's literally Death, the Grim Reaper. And you're playing as him in a 2D action roguelike. And essentially, it seems like you're kind of the boss, and you got to deal with all your employees' crap and them really giving up on the job. It's got a really cool, cartoony style, a really different vibe to it. And if you like a good hack and slash action roguelike, consider jumping in. It released earlier in the spring, and people have been loving it. Next, over at number 38, we have Darkest Dungeon 2. Yep, the greats have returned with, once again, a very challenging, very intense game where you have to worry about managing your characters and your party to an almost stressful degree. I'd say if you never played the original Darkest Dungeon, if you're looking for something like where you really have to care about your men, like XCOM, cool, but with a bit more of a medieval kind of dark horror spin on it, that's the best thing I can compare it to. Not really in terms of gameplay, but in the level of challenge and thought involved. Next, over at number 37, we have Dredge. This is kind of like a fishing ship game, but also a narrative adventure. There's a lot to it. It's a pretty chill game, but with some really good writing and an actually pretty decent fishing mechanic, even if you're not into fishing games. This one has been really kind of clicking with a lot of people, so consider it. Now, next, over at number 36, we have Tekken 8. I mean, holy crap. Have you seen the gameplay of this thing? It looks absolutely wild. From returning characters to just over-the-top effects, backdrops, and seemingly good combat. I guess that's cool. Tekken 8 looks like it's going to be pretty awesome. We haven't gotten our hands on it yet, but it does seem like it's dropping this year, and it seems like it's going to be a good year for fighting games. Let's just say that. Now, next, over at number 35, we have Sons of the Forest, which has released in early access, and it's the follow-up to, of course, the mega smash hit, The Forest. And this one, it seems to go even crazier. You have a really cool AI companion, you have more things to worry about, more things to fend off, and a bigger world. Like we said, it is still in early access, so a lot of people have kind of already ran through it already, but we're expecting a lot more from this developer, considering the success of The Forest. Next, over at number 34, we have Octopath Traveler 2. Essentially, what the developers did here is took what worked in the first game and really drew upon that to create something seemingly even better. The people who played through this game in its entirety seem to prefer it over the original. I mean, cool art style aside, it's really about the story here, and it seems like it really worked.
as the first.
Now, next over at number 33, we have Wolong Fallen Dynasty. This is Team
out
Ninja's next Souls-like spin-off style game, and this is kind of almost like their take on Sekiro, with an emphasis on parrying and sword-based combat that is very satisfying. It's accessible, it's a little boring in terms of like enemy types and environments, but that combat can be really damn thrilling, and it is still absolutely worth checking out if you like this genre. Now, next over at number 32, we have Payday 3. As of right now, we don't know too much about this one, but we do know we should be seeing it this year. They've been working on this one for a while. The Payday games are competitive, fun bank robbery shooters that have been